The night was thick with rain, the kind that blurred neon signs and made the world shimmer like a fading memory. Inside Rusty's Roadhouse bar, the rumble of motorcycles drowned out the sound of the storm outside. A group of leather-clad bikers laughed loudly, glasses clinking, smoke curling in lazy rings toward the ceiling. None of them knew that in 15 minutes, their world would come to a dead stop. Outside, under the flickering streetlight, Harold Jensen, 83 years old, stood carefully beside his old, weathered Ford truck. His hands trembled as he placed a bouquet of fresh flowers on the passenger seat. Every Friday for the past 7 years, Harold drove to the same diner 2 towns over, the diner where he had met his late wife, Margaret, nearly 6 decades ago. Tonight, though, the rain had started earlier than expected, and Harold's wipers barely kept up. He squinted through the fogged windshield, muttering to himself, "Just a few more miles, Maggie, I'll make it." As Harold pulled into the parking lot of Rusty's to wipe his windshield and rest a minute, a black Harley roared around the corner, tires hissing on the wet pavement. The biker, a broad man in his 30s named Jake Razor Dalton, was too busy checking his phone to notice the old man crossing in front of him. The screech of brakes came too late. Harold was struck, thrown to the ground, his flowers scattering into the rain. Gasps and shouts followed as the Harley skidded sideways. Jake cursed, ripping off his helmet, his heart pounding in panic. "Damn it! Damn it!" he shouted, rushing to Harold. "Old man, can you hear me?" Harold groaned softly, pain lacing his voice. I'm fine, just my leg." "It's not your fault, son." Jake swallowed hard, guilt crashing over him. "Don't move. I'll get help." A few of Jake's biker buddies poured out of the bar, but instead of helping, a couple snickered. "Nice one, Razor. You just ran over Grandpa." "Shut up, Vince," Jake snapped. "He's hurt." The mockery only grew. "Old man should have stayed home." One jeered. Jake's hands curled into fists. He wanted to punch them, but all he could do was kneel beside Harold, shielding him from the rain. "Just hang on, sir," he said. "Ambulance will be here soon." Harold, eyes half closed, managed a faint smile. "You're not a bad man, son, just careless. I've seen worse in the war." Jake blinked. "The war? Vietnam," Harold whispered. 83rd Infantry. "Long time ago." Something in Jake's chest twisted. His father had served too, and died before Jake ever got to say goodbye. He stared at Harold's weathered face, the military dog tag still hanging from his neck, and felt a deep shame settle in his gut. Minutes passed. The rain kept falling, but instead of an ambulance siren, there came a different sound, low at first, then growing louder. A deep, unmistakable rumble. Engines. Heavy ones. The kind that made the ground shake. Every biker turned toward the road as 4 military Humvees rolled into the lot, headlights slicing through the rain. The vehicles stopped abruptly, doors slamming open in perfect synchronization. Out stepped a group of men and women in full uniform, clean, disciplined, commanding. At their front stood Colonel Mason Grant, tall and composed, with eyes that burned like steel. "Where is Harold Jensen?" he barked. The bikers froze. Jake stood, speechless. The colonel spotted Harold on the ground and rushed forward, kneeling beside him. "Sir," he said with startling respect. "We came as soon as we got the message." Jake blinked in disbelief. "You know him?" Colonel Grant turned sharply. "Know him. This man saved 37 soldiers in a firefight in '68. He's a legend." Murmurs rippled through the bar crowd. The bikers exchanged uneasy glances. Grant continued, his voice low but powerful. "Every year, we check in on him. When he doesn't show up to the diner he visits every Friday, we make sure he's okay. Tonight, he didn't make it, and the tracking alert from his phone went off. So we came." He looked at Jake then, his gaze piercing. "You hit him." Jake's mouth went dry. "It was an accident, sir. I swear, I didn't mean." Grant raised a hand. "I believe you." He turned back to Harold, who was trying to sit up. "Colonel," Harold rasped, "I told you I didn't need babysitting." Grant smiled softly. "And I told you, sir, heroes don't get to go unseen." Jake stepped forward, kneeling beside the old veteran. "I'm so sorry, Mr. Jensen. I didn't see you. I'll take responsibility, medical bills, anything." Harold studied him for a long moment, then gently reached out, patting Jake's arm. "Then start by slowing down, son. Life's fast enough already." The colonel stood, addressing the bikers. You see this man? You owe your freedom to men like him. Remember that the next time you think age makes someone weak. The silence was thick with shame and awe. When the paramedics finally arrived, the soldiers helped lift Harold onto a stretcher. Before they left, the colonel turned to Jake. You can make up for what happened tonight. The VA always needs volunteers. You show up there Monday at 0800. Tell them Colonel Grant sent you. Jake nodded quickly. Yes, sir. As the convoy pulled away, the rain eased, leaving behind only the smell of wet asphalt and humility. The neon sign of Rusty's flickered again, reflecting off puddles that now held scattered petals, the flowers Harold had brought for his wife. Jake picked them up, holding them carefully, reverently. He whispered, I'll take them to her for you, sir. And the next morning, Jake Dalton, once just another reckless biker, stood quietly in front of a small gravestone marked Margaret Jensen. He placed the flowers down, wiped the rain from the name, and saluted. Behind him, in the distance, came the low growl of Humvees again, this time, not in warning, but in tribute.